Cheers. Happy Tuesday. Great apple juice. So guys, we are finally here. New comic book day eve, aka Falcon and Winter Soldier. Spec. As we all know, this Friday it is time for the next show. It is time to have our Friday mornings or whenever you watch the show be filled. I can't wait for, I think the shows are still going to be coming out at 3 a.m. Eastern time. So the West Coast guys are going to have it at midnight, but you know, it's going to be crazy to see when people wake up and watch it later on in the afternoon, all the spec stuff. I will tell you right now, I have an inside scoop. This has not even been talked about. Hyper doesn't know about this. Face Keys, no one knows about this, but I have major speculation on a book you need to go get because it's going to like just blow up when the show starts. And when I introduce the guys right after, we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to tell you this crazy book, but let's bring in the gentleman first. Actually, there's no gentleman here. It's just the guys. First up, we got Mr. On Time, Mr. 930. Tonight, he's Mr. 935, Mr. Blue Pill. If you don't know who I'm talking about, go catch 3 Men in the Basement, their show they did on Monday. You will get to know this man very well, but it is Hyper Combo. What's up, man?
What's up? It's Red Pill, man, not Blue Pill. We're going down the rabbit holes. We're taking the Red Pill tonight.
Okay, Red Pill. I don't know, man. You know what? Usually you wear like blue, or you know, like a blue shirt or a black shirt, and it throws me off. Next time, just wear a red shirt, and I'll know it right away.
I gotta keep it, you know, consistently unpredictable. I don't want to wear the same stuff. People might think I don't do my laundry.
Yeah. What? Christ. Oh man. Okay. All right, and let's bring in the other guy because guys, I am super excited to tell you. Like, obviously, I have some spec stuff in the what's it called, in our presentation and stuff like that. But I have a big news on a book that's just gonna blow up. So stay tuned. As soon as we introduce,
I'm curious.
As soon as we introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. New Comic Book Day, Mr. FaceTime. What's going on, man?
What's going on? I'm excited for Friday, man. I can't wait for the show to start.
Oh, dude, you know, we also forgot Thursday is
Snyder
Cut. What did you say? Yeah,
Snyder Cut.
Yeah, DC. You know what? Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting, I guess. But yeah. So listen, before we get started on the presentation, I just want to give you guys the chance to open your eBays up, and I want you guys big spec book for Winter Soldier here. I'm gonna give it to you right now.
I feel like this is gonna be a troll.
Just go now, go buy it, so that way we eliminate it every goddamn week until this show is over.
Okay, let's see. What is this?
Go get it now, people. Go get it now, because we are literally. I honestly do not.
Nice.
I don't want to hear about Mephisto anymore. So please, just go buy them now. Just do it now. Because if this thing like, I swear to God, I feel like we're gonna be watching Winter Soldier, and at the end of episode 1, they're gonna be like, "Dude, you know that gunshot that just went off and like almost attacked that guy? That was Mephisto. The bullet was Mephisto." Like, no, man, come on.
Mephisto is everywhere, bro.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. So
you had me for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought we were buds. I thought you'd divulge this to us first.
I would let you guys know first, but no, that was a joke, guys. You know, I don't want you guys buying that. I mean, hey, if you want to buy that book, but like, you know, don't, you know, that was just a joke.
It's still the first appearance of Mephisto. Buy that shit anyway if you can afford it.
Exactly.
Still a good book, yeah.
Exactly. So before we get started, guys, and I do want to thank you. There's been a lot of Winter Soldier, a lot of Falcon stuff already been said. A lot of shows have already done it. I guess we're kind of going on last in this. We just had other things that we were doing, so we never really got around to it. But it is important, and here's why. Because even though WandaVision was coming out, people knew what was going on. And even when we were introduced to, like, say, Agatha, you know, and characters like that, people still weren't buying that book, or it didn't explode. So I think that might be something that we just do as a community or as people. So it's never too late or too bad to just, you know, write down some of the books that different channels talk about. You know, every channel is different as well, so you never know what books you can grab. We're not all competing against one another either. So like, you know, we're just trying to help the community. You know, we're giving some spec based on what we think. So, you know, just keep that in mind because you never know. Because even though you know Falcon and Winter Soldier are coming and possible characters, I know there's probably going to be 40% of people in the community still running around trying to chase a book when people probably told you like a month in advance, right? So just keep that in mind.
Hey, newbie, I got a question.
Yes.
I see Mr. Key Issues is in chat. Why the hell isn't his lazy ass on the show?
Well, it's 9:41. I think his bedtime is 9:42. So that
he could have been on the show for a full damn minute. He's a slacker.
It happens sometimes. It happens.
And we're gonna have to have a talk with him.
Before we get started, I'm gonna go into the chat and then we are gonna get right into this. I don't expect us to go 3 hours. If any of you in the chat have any book that you guys want us to talk about, please let us know at the end. I'm more than willing to, you know, talk about books that we might have missed or what our thoughts are on some of the books. But nevertheless, let's see who gets the medals. Renos getting the gold medal. What's up, man? I appreciate that. Dan, silver, Akuma going in with the bronze, and me participation at 4. 75. What's going on, boys? First time checking out the show last week. Came back for more. Hey, thanks, man. Don't forget
he's
to.
brave.
Yeah, he's brave. We do New Comic Book Day spec and news on Sundays at 9:30 as well. So if you're looking for some spec, if you're looking for me to, you know, all of a sudden 33 years in have a stutter, you know, check that show out because I had a miscue there the other night. And yeah, I was telling my girlfriend about that, like the cocoon thing. And she's like, oh my God. And I was like,
that wasn't even the good one, though. That wasn't even the good one.
I couldn't get it out, man. I was like, I couldn't get it out. It was
like,
so weird.
Like I told you, like I was kind of like my thought was somewhere else, and then I just kept hearing that, and I'm like, oh shoot, okay, browser must need to be refreshed or something.
It's the remix.
Sam, Mr. eBay, what's going on, man? I know that's not your nickname, but I always appreciate the work that you do when you look up books for us. So I really appreciate it, man. Ramirez, what's going on? One half of Dream of August. We got Omega Comics. Can't wait for the show. I think there's 6 episodes when it comes out. Is that it? Is that all we're getting in 6 episodes?
Yeah, I think this is a short one, unfortunately.
Yeah, 6 episodes.
This one has more potential to see like a second season. Well, I don't want to say because I do think we're gonna get more from WandaVision, but I don't think it's gonna be, you know, just a direct season 2 of WandaVision. You know, they'll do something else with it, but
yeah. Mm-hmm. Keys, man has a big book but keeps it from the boys. Yeah, that's yeah. No. If you guys missed it, I was just joking. I was teasing that I had a big undercover source. The book I showed was just Silver Surfer 3. It was just a joke. If you don't know what Silver Surfer is, shows
up, you're a genius.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you know, can't go wrong. D Solo, what's up, man? Empire Comics, what's going on? Let's see here. Rock, what's going on? Rock. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Vancouver Comic Junkie, what is going on? I actually, guys, have a video coming out soon. I think it's going to be later this week because I just posted like 4 videos over the weekend. I've got a video with an unboxing I did. I bought some books off Vancouver Comic Junkie. Yeah, they're really nice. So, and I want to say this right now because I say it in the video too. If you ever buy a book from Vancouver Comic Junkie, just rest assured, this book is coming well packaged, man. Like this thing was like wrapped beautifully. You know, big shout outs to him for sending it. So thank you so much. Lady Sith, what is going on? All right. As you guys come in and ladies come in, I will give you some shout outs. So thank you for tuning in. All right. The show must start eventually. So here we go, guys. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, before we start. Dun, 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 dun. So we got Big B Comics, channel sponsor. You guys already know they got 3 stores, Barrie, Niagara Falls, and Hamilton. I rep the one in the Falls, but you can always go check all 3 of them out. They got eBay pages and books. So make sure you don't be a stranger to Big B Comics. Bleecker Street Press. This guy, big shout outs to him. He has a flea market opening. He's opening up a booth this Sunday. It's going to be crazy. I saw him today, actually. He's got like, I don't know, it seemed like 40 long boxes ready to go. So he's going to have some cool stuff. Don't forget to check out his website. If you're in the Southern Ontario area, $10 a press, $5 a clean. The man is a genius when it comes to that. He's pressed some books for me. I'm going to continue going to him, especially because he's a drive away. Next up, go check out my guy, Derek at Shape State Creative. If you need a logo, intro, whatever you need, he's the man. There's the address. You can get him. Tell him Newbie sent you. And Mutant Beaver Comics, code word 10, 10% off. They ship to the States, Alaska, Antarctica, Mars, wherever. They got you covered. Go check them out.
Mutant Beaver, that's fucking great, man.
It's very Canadian.
Oh, yeah, huge.
I love it.
Huge. All right. It's showtime. Hope the popcorn is ready. But here we go. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Let's see. Oh, shoot. Whoa, we're already going. All right. So, Falcon, Winter Soldier. Here we go. First book up, we got Falcon and Winter Soldier #1. This is the first team of both of them. Raw copies selling anywhere between $5 and $10. A 9.8 just sold for $90 Canadian. That's shipping. That's imported. That's all that jazz. $90. #1. This one I could see maybe getting a little heat, maybe getting to that 150, 180 range, just solely because of the fact it's the first time they team up. It's basically what could be what we see from the show. And if, like Face said, if there is a second or third season or however we see it, it seems like this is just the dynamic duo, a good partnership in the sense that, yeah, they're cool. They're funny. We get a lot of jokes with them. They have each other's back. You know, it's that bromance. But this could be a book that could eventually, from the investment side, get you a few bucks.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, like, of all the history that Falcon had, and with Winter Soldier being around also in the Marvel publication, I'm surprised this particular run, this miniseries that came out last year, was the first time they were actually teamed up. I thought it happened a while ago, but I guess it's the first.
It's true.
So and this book is still, I mean, you could still find this book at cover price, in most shops, back issue bins, because I mean people are really hunting for these other books, so this is kind of flying under the radar. So this might be one of those sleeper picks that you could probably pick off the shelf for a cover price. You shouldn't have to pay. I know it says 15 at the upper tier, but I think if you look hard enough, you could find it at 5 or less.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Huge.
Yeah, man. This is this is kind of like just obvious smacks you in the face type of book. It's the same damn name as the show. First issue, and first time you get to see them like officially teaming up in that capacity. So, it makes a lot of sense to think that this might have a little bump behind it once the show begins. And it's really cheap buying, solid cover. I mean, I like the cover, it's on it and everything like that. So I don't think you can go wrong picking it up for a couple bucks.
And the other thing too is, like, I'm not really aware of the timeline of this book, when this book came out. But yeah, I agree. Or I was gonna say, I agree in the sense that, like the storyline, whatever they follow, I mean, this maybe could be it. I don't know. I haven't read the book. I haven't found this book. But from what I was seeing from eBay and things like that, and some people that I was talking to, they were kind of putting this price on it. Sometimes I take an average from like the raw sales, right? Because like if a book is selling for 5 and then 17, and then so I just kind of make it easier. But I don't have this book, but I'm curious to see if like whoever does have this book, if you could tell me like if this is the storyline that they might choose to go with this book. You know what I mean?
Well, Newbie, this came out last year, and
last year, okay.
Yeah, I believe it was supposed to coincide with the release, obviously with the release of the show, but with with COVID and everything kind of pushing everything kind of back. That's why you're seeing the show like right now, like coming on this Friday. It actually should have, I think the show was supposed to come out like past summer, right? Like May or June or something.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah,
so.
so it kind of messed things up in terms of scheduling wise. That's why you'll see even like issues like that new Black Widow series was supposed to come around the same time as the movie. So it's the same scenario with this miniseries.
Big shout out to Immortal Biggie Shaq. I will be seeing you next Friday, brother. Like, on YouTube, not like physically, just in case somebody's like,
Going
oh,
for that
movie's around. Oh, okay. No. Y'all know Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2 is the first Green Ranger. Is that a book that's coming out tomorrow, or
No. Are we talking
ago.
about the current run?
say that again? Sorry.
Is he meaning
he's talking
the
about the current
run?
one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Face, I'm gonna ask you because you collect, I think, way more than me in Hyper. But do you own this book?
No, actually, I don't. I think I need to go pick it up. Wait. Oh no, this is a series. Hyper. You just said this is a series that came out last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out last year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I do. I'm surprised they didn't have a series that came out with these two motherfuckers together before that.
That's what I was.
That's what Hyper
why,
said.
Yeah. I was curious.
Yeah.
That's why, like, with the amount of time that these guys have been in Marvel, you would have figured that something like this came happen. What?
This is this was the miniseries with the kid, the Natural, from Hydra. So
Something like that.
I think there were some rumors that we may see aspects of that show up in this series or potentially the next next season. So who knows?
Yeah, there was a first appearance.
Doesn't look like anything from the show is from that comic. All right, cool. So he probably has.
There was rumors about it, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to see it this early in the first season, especially since it came out last year. But maybe second season, who knows?
Yeah. And Bricks is confirming, saying Face the Natural first appearance.
Yeah, the Natural. That's right, the kid.
All right, next book. And guys, we do have some honorable mentions at the end, not necessarily in the PowerPoint or in the presentation, but we will talk about some that we missed or, some that in the chat you guys might have that want to chat about or talk about. We're always welcoming new suggestions and opinions. So, if we don't say a book that you think and you have some questions, let us know at the end and we can talk about it. Next book. Captain America, #1, first solo series of Sam Wilson as Captain America. I think this one is probably one that a lot of people were already on. I don't think this is a surprise. One thing that stands out to me is me and Keys actually came across this one, and I believe the next one on the list in some of our shops, and we passed it up. It was like $5 or $10. And I remember saying to him, like, we kind of just did. We looked at each other like, do we buy? Do we not? That was at the end of the fall.
Keep talking to me. I got to show you. I have a variant for this, but I have to just bring it out.
Yeah, no worries. I don't know. I'm not really a big Captain America fan, and I'm a less of a Falcon fan. So like this one to me didn't really do much, right? But this one I know was out there. Is it out there now? I don't know. But if you would have asked me maybe 2 months ago, I definitely could confirm that this one was out there like for $5-10, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, for sure, man. I love this book. And like you said, I don't think anybody's sleeping on this one. It's a really obvious spec with Falcon taking up the role as Captain America. But for sure, it's a solid book to have in your collection. Great cover with Sam Wilson, being Captain America. So you can't go wrong here for sure.
And the thing is, with Marvel now, like the bottom is like a red banner, right? The second print, has a blue banner. I have that one. That one's actually, I think it's selling for like $30 or $40 on eBay, just because it's a lower print.
Yeah. The She-Hulk ones and the Loki ones are different color as well. Like the She-Hulk ones are like all green and stuff. So
the green is a third print for the She-Hulk.
Or the third print. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Usually,
I hated those fucking banners.
But apparently those banners fetch you quite a bit now for key issues.
Yeah.
The variant that I'm going to show, this one was like an Interscope Records exclusive.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah. What'd you pick that up for?
For $10.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. It's Ray Sherman, the rap group.
I like it.
no flex zone. Yeah, so that's
Yeah, the rapper that's still in jail or something.
Are they? I don't know.
I don't know.
Wait, who's the rapper?
Ray Shrummer. Man, we're talking about Ray Shrummer on a comic channel. This is crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was saying, to face though, Hyper. Like I don't think this one surprises a lot of people, but I wouldn't be surprised if people overlook this, not knowing what it was. You know what I mean? Because yeah, like I said, like me and Keys passed up a few chances at these. I know at that Kitchener warehouse, I passed it up. Again, I'm not the biggest Captain America fan, and I'm even a less of a Falcon fan. So I wasn't really on board with a lot of the books, like to chase for this. Like I don't really feel like chasing after any of that. So
I will say that the writer who wrote this, like Rick Remender, I did like the series that came before this that led up to this point. Like I did like that Captain America series. And like you, I'm not the biggest Cap fan, but I just read that, just for the sake of reading it, and I enjoyed it.
Boom, boom. All right, next book on the list, we've got Captain America number 25. This one should be no brainer, no surprise. If you have it, you're probably ahead of a lot of people, but this is the first appearance of Sam Wilson as Captain America. Teasers and the trailer showed it. I mean, come on. He was in the suit. Raw copies are selling anywhere between $30 and $50 now. At one point last summer, these were $10. I passed up 3 of these, and they were just $10. And I'm talking like very high grade. Like they were pretty nice, but again, not the biggest Falcon fan or anything like that. Like I knew what it was, but I wasn't like, because my thought process was like, oh, like this can't be worth that much because if they're still here, maybe people just didn't believe in it. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. So yeah.
It's funny because I actually picked up the entire run of this series right after Endgame came out, because after Endgame I was kind of riding this high where I wanted to pick up key issues of different moments in that movie. So that's why I picked up like the Iron Man with the Infinity Gauntlet and the Thor.
Avengers 12.
Yeah, I picked that up.
Yeah. What do you have it slabbed or just raw?
Just raw. And I picked up the Thor 290 where Captain America holds the hammer, and I picked up this one also. This one I actually picked up the entire run, I think at the time, for like $50 for the entire run. So that's like issue 1 to 25 for 50.
I think I paid for my 9.6 Avengers 12. And I have to have that, being the Iron Man guy. I think I paid $86 Canadian.
That's not bad. And
it's not bad.
It's a cool cover. I like it. I still have it on my PC. But yeah, I read this run from start to finish, and I enjoyed it. And yeah, this is like you said, this is definitely a book that I felt was undervalued. You're only starting to see now the prices go up, but for the longest time, because I had the book myself, I was just checking once in a while on eBay what they were going for, and dude, it went sometime as low as like $5-6 at one point.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's crazy.
And actually, there is a variant that I ended up picking up at my LCS. This one, not a lot of people know about. It's Marvel is doing like an anti-bullying campaign. So this is like an issue 25, the stomp the bullying variant. Yeah. So
wow.
I don't know, man. Like this is definitely a solid book to have in your collection and everything. But I like your anti-bullying cover better than the regular one.
Yeah.
Like that, the regular cover just doesn't do a whole lot for me with that.
The ratios are actually. But have you seen the ratios for these ones? The ratios actually look a lot better, but obviously they command a much higher price. There's like I think a 1 in 25 and a 1 in 50 for this.
Yeah.
No surprise there. I would definitely go after one of the ratios or the anti-bullying cover. Like I said, it is one of those classic books at this point when Sam takes on that role, but man, that cover is just boring.
I think how like we had the and no pun intended here, but how we had the Mephisto, or like the big question with WandaVision was like, who's going to be this actor that shows up, right? I think one of the biggest questions that we are going to the show might take us on is who actually is Captain America, right? Because the whole premise is the government does not want Sam Wilson to be Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, I do think that it opens up possibilities for different storylines, for different shows, for a second or third season of this show. But I think that that's going to be one of those questions that after every episode, we're going to be like, oh, shoot, John Walker. Oh, shoot, Luke Skywalker. Oh, shoot, Hyper Combo is Captain. Like where it's just going to be one of those things where like we won't know. And it's just kind of going to do this with some books, right? It's just going to like tease you and then, right. So just be on the lookout for that because like you saw what happened in WandaVision, it's going to happen with this show. And even though we're putting this information out there, there's going to be books and people are going to be buying these books at crazy prices just because, right? So
and someone mentioned how like people, even though like it's like the same thing with Agatha Harkness, even though we kind of saw that she was going to be on the show, it's almost like only once she appeared, people start scrambling for that book. It's almost like it's like a seeing as believing kind of mentality.
But it's like I said, right? Like even when the show when we were introduced to Agatha came, people were still like the prices from when we saw Agatha and seeing her through the show didn't explode until she like did like her magic stuff, and then that book just exploded. Exactly. And now people are laughing because they're like, "Oh man, good thing I held on to it and I didn't sell it when I did," and so it's a little crazy.
Yeah,
Hyper was.
She was WandaVision was good all around, but she was a highlight of that, bro. So I don't pick it up just on the strength of that.
Yeah,
she killed it.
She was a definite breakout. The breakout,
100%.
Breakout star of that show. Yeah,
100%. All right, boys and girls. Next book on the list is Truth, Red, White, Black, #1. First appearance of Isaiah Bradley, African-American, Black Captain America. Raw copies, Elling for $25 to $50. I guess I forgot an S there, so raw copies are selling. A 9.6 recently sold for $250 Canadian. This one intrigues me a lot. There's a lot they could do with this. Not so much just because of the fact that he is African-American, because let's not forget, Falcon is African-American. So it's not like they're, the playing like the race card or doing that, right? But I just really do think that because of the who's captain, who they want captain, and who we might see, I think that this is definitely a character that we could see. I remember when this book was like $50 for like a 9.6, like it was, like crazy. And obviously in the last couple months, this thing has gone up. I remember talking about this book when I first started on YouTube, and like I think it was like last June, and I was like, "Yeah, man, like this could be a good book to pick up for the long run." And now you're seeing selling at $250 for 9.6. I haven't seen any 9.8s sell, so I'm interested to see if this character does show up or if there's any Easter eggs throughout the show, what that price point would look like. So, yeah, definitely a book I would recommend. Your thoughts?
Here's the thing, though. Either of you maybe could confirm, or someone in the chat. Isn't he also considered the first super soldier before Steve Rogers?
I don't know.
No, I'm actually not familiar enough with the storyline to say for sure.
Yeah, because I read somewhere that he might have been the actual first super in terms of the chronological order. I think he actually may have been the first super soldier before Steve Rogers. And
I think I saw something along those lines too, so you may not be off base on it.
Yeah, and he's actually he's I believe the uncle of the guy who ends up being the future Patriot in the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
So
I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, that one's accurate for sure.
Yeah, the thing is, I've passed by this book before. I haven't picked it up yet. If you've seen the interior of the series, I'm not a big fan of it. It's a very they tried to make it into like 1950s cartoonish look, where if you flip through the book, you'll know what I mean. But this is again another character that is kind of flying under the radar. I mean, still raw copies are 25 to 50 is still not bad. And I think the whole entire miniseries, like I believe 7 issues. So
it's just it's crazy to me because like when I was doing some of the research and when I was, you know, like just watching other shows, you know, I do support other people who spec and things like that. And, you know, we bounce, you know, there are some of us that bounce ideas off one another and things like that. I know I've talked to many people about ideas and things like that. And I think that's one really good thing about this community that, I mean, you could be anybody to speculate, right? But it's just cool because like I hate when people say like, oh, you know, I've been specking about this for like 4 years, you know, like it's just, it is nice to see when, you know, you do talk about a book and then like months later or like even years later, people are like picking it up. I remember that happened with Amazing Spider-Man 365 for me. Like I remember picking those books up for like toonies, $2. If you don't know what a toonie is, you know, and I had like 20 of them, right? And I held on to them for a long, long time. And then I eventually sold them for like 25, 30 bucks a pop. And it's just, you know, it's kind of cool when you see that because it just kind of lets you know you're kind of in the right path and you're kind of doing it. So
Yeah, and I think that's sometimes the best mentality. Sometimes I think you get so fixated on like having a book and trying to immediately find the value. Sometimes the best feeling is having it stashed away and then finding out like years later, oh shoot, okay, it's worth this much. It's almost like it's out of sight, out of mind kind of mentality.
Yeah. Like those people that like hoarded Hulk 181 and now are coming out with like 30 copies of it. It's like, yeah, no, you guys are really cool. But,
wait, do those people actually exist?
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 that I actually just like got introduced to because I want to buy one, and they're like, no, man, I'm not selling it. And they got like 40 copies of the book. I'm like, God, come on. But
Newbie, I just want to give a shout out to my uncle Sith Lordly who just joined the chat. You know, your favorite nephew just wants to give you a big shout out. So, you know, appreciate you for coming in. Thank you.
And his younger friends. I'm 33. Dan is saying, I don't see Falcon remaining as the new Captain America unless he gains super strength.
It probably will be some type of a temporary thing, but you know, regardless, he's going to stick around as either Captain America or Falcon. As far as this issue goes, this is another one I love just on the strength of the cover alone. I mean, it's a great cover, and you get the first appearance of you know, Isaiah Bradley. So, you know, it's you know, a good book as far as those aspects go. You know,
I thought you were having a stutter there when you're like it's.
Well, I like I'm trying not to rag on it because I haven't read the book myself or anything like that.
I haven't either.
But
the only
yeah,
thing I've
you know,
ever heard about this book is what Hyper said about the cartoon and the artwork. That's all I've ever heard about this book.
So, you know, that's a little bit of a detractor for me. But regardless, you know, it's something I'll probably pick up at some point. Hopefully I can catch it, you know, before it might explode or anything like that. So
this has a lot of potential, right? Like if it hits, a lot of potential for it. Sam,
it's definitely a character they could bring in at any time.
Just to give you some you know, a reference here. So a 9.6 sold for $250 Canadian. Sam actually just informed me that there is a 9.8 someone is selling. Sorry. So someone is selling a 9.8 for $313 on eBay. So the price point for, like, if I had the choice of going 9.8 or 9.6, if I really wanted this, that price point is so low. I'm going on 9.8 all day for,
of course, yeah. Why not?
$60.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So.
And the thing is, as far as I know, I don't think there's any ratios. I don't even think there's a second print for this issue. I think there's only one. So that actually makes this a bit more of a desirable. Like when you start getting into reprints and variants, it kind of muddies the water, right, for the value.
Yeah. So, guys, and now that I do have Mr. Sith Lordy here, don't forget, me and Hyper will be on Spine Ticks Saturday, 11 p.m. Eastern. I believe that is 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
I think so make sure you guys go tune in, check out. You know, who knows? A lot of fun happens on those shows. So, you know,
drop a comment, let them know how many Chewies you think the show is.
Before we go on to the next book, I think Isaiah will be in the show, but as a flashback or in the past rather, because he was part of the experiment.
It makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. But Lovebox, you know how it works. Even if it's in the past, people are going to say, oh, they used them in the past. okay, that book is going to do something, and it will, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just usually what happens, right?
Well,
So
and the super soldier serum, I mean, it has a lot of different effects, so he could still be floating around in the current day MCU too, even if they do show him in flashbacks. At some point they'll probably bring him in.
yeah.
The minute you introduce someone,
The
whether it's
minute?
flashback, what? Oh my gosh.
He wants that stutter so bad.
Oh, I'm on everybody now. I'm like fully gated. I'm going after everybody now.
Newbie's like a bloodhound right now.
I'm on edge, man. I'm on edge.
You just give him like a drop of blood and he just swims into the ocean.
Right? Feeding frenzy time.
But yeah, listen. Whether he's in a flashback, a cameo, he pops his head out of the door or something, as soon as any inkling of his appearance, is shown, people are going to start doing their speculation game. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I really do think that this book does have legs, though. Maybe not right away, but even, like you guys are saying, if he, for whatever reason, past, present, small or big role, it definitely has legs. A 9.8 is selling for $300. There's no saying that a 9.8 couldn't be $500, even just for a little second. So,
Yeah, like I said, I don't think the print run for this is that high either. So,
no.
What happened to Face?
I don't know.
I thought you booted him out. Like, you didn't say anything, dude.
No, I didn't boot him out. I didn't know. Somebody put a thumbs down. Oh man, you know what? That's okay. That's even better than, well, it's not better than thumbs up, but it's okay.
Okay.
It just means that they don't love themselves, but just know I love you. Whoever put the thumbs down, just know I love you. Okay. Because clearly you're going through some stuff.
Man, I should be putting a thumbs down.
Hey man, I like thumbs down, bro. That's a view either way. Fuck them.
Yeah,
if that's the only way I'm gonna get love,
it is, man. It is what it is.
If that's the only way I'm gonna get love for me, I'll start putting thumbs down then.
Shut up. All right, guys. Next book rather on this list is a book. And actually, just recently, I heard there was a lot of shows that weren't talking about this. They weren't bringing this book up. I think a lot of people heavily believe Thunderbolts is coming. So I thought, you know what? This book is perfect for that. Thunderbolts #1. Thunderbolts revealed to be led by Baron Z. Raw copies are still very cheap, $10 to $25. So this could be something that maybe we don't see necessarily in the show, but we could see like at the end, right? Or like one of those end credits where it's like he opens a factory or he goes into this whatever, their base, and then they're all there kind of thing. I could definitely see that. There is a sleeper book that I want to talk to you guys about this at the end of the presentation that I really do think a lot of people are sleeping on, and I'm surprised I didn't put in the presentation, but it's kind of because I was still, trying to read through the cracks and all that. But I really do think that this one is an undervalued book, especially if you're going after Incredible Hulk 449.
Yeah. We had little hints that the Thunderbolts will be appearing in the MCU. So this show kind of does have the like I don't think that we're gonna get like a full appearance, but we might get some kind of further hints that this team will show up. So yeah.
I mean, I'm really hoping this team shows up. I loved the Thunderbolts when they first came out, and I was a big fan of the whole initial first arc that they did with them. First couple arcs, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I hope they use the original team rather than one of the newer iterations, but I would imagine it's a team that'll show up at some point. Sort of like an MCU version of the Suicide Squad. So it kind of feels like they almost have to do it just to have their own little Suicide Squad going on. And people get into it, the villain teams that are sort of forced redemption type of thing. So it's a book that I own already, thankfully. Like I said, I was a big fan, but if you don't have it, for sure grab it. They're cheap as hell.
I think one of the things too is a lot of people sometimes stay away from villains. But the thing is, I think that it was shown, you know, I'm kind of seeing the differences between shows and movies now. Like you really do see the differences. You know, how a show can take you like week to week. You know, we're dying for it, and just all the information, all the spec, all the, you know, and you guys have heard me say, right? Like as soon as I guarantee you Friday by 12 p.m. Eastern time, right? I guarantee you there's going to be like 100,000. Hey man, you know, 200 Easter eggs you missed on, you know, it's just crazy what that can do compared to what a movie does when you basically have to follow all the movies. And, you know, sometimes there's months, but maybe sometimes there's years before you go through it. But with villains, I was going to say, especially this is, you know, the villain will be around for the duration. So like 6 to 7 weeks. So you basically have 6 or 7 weeks, if it's really popular, to maybe catch a little spike and then sell off. Right. Where, you know, like villains that we might see, you know, in movies. Yeah. They're either hot based on the rumor or they're just ice cold. Right. So I think that's one of the differences with villains from like these shows like Wanda, this, you know, She-Hulk, Loki, the What Ifs and all that. So.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the for the most part, I always enjoy the movies of the MCU. But one of the criticisms I usually have with these movies is I kind of find that the villains. I'm not talking about Thanos. Like Thanos is the exception, but a lot of the time these villains, it's almost like a come and go kind of thing, and you don't get enough of them in the MCU. So I'm kind of glad these shows are there where you kind of get a bit more chance to, you know, see these, you know, these characters play out a bit more rather than just one like 2-hour movie and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head too. It's all about exposure with the villains, because, you know, the villains get exposed for, you know, that episode, that season, that movie or whatever, and then for the most part, you know, kind of move away from them at least for a while, and move on to whatever the next big bad is. You know, whereas the hero sticks around constant. Yeah. So, you know. Yeah. But you know, the Thunderbolts are a unique case because, yeah, they're villains, but they're playing the role of the heroes. So if they end up getting their own show and everything, they'll still have that constant exposure. So it could work a little bit, you know, a little bit better for the Thunderbolts if they do end up getting something like an extended show.
Yeah. I mean, don't forget, there is, like, during the King in Black series, they did introduce this weird mishmash of characters to form this new Thunderbolts of 2020. I think this is going to be a short-lived. It's only a 3-issue miniseries that had like Taskmaster, Batroc the Leaper, Rhino, and
Mr. Fear.
Mr. Fear and Star from Captain Marvel. So it like over the years you've seen different iterations of Thunderbolts, but yeah, the ones that we're talking about is obviously the OG.
Yeah. Jeff, what's going on, man? Oh shoot. Everybody was saying go Cubs, but Jeff is actually a White Sox fan. Damn. I'm a Yankees fan, so yeah, I can't relate to any of these smaller teams. Our trophy case is a little big. Our trophy case is a little big. Yeah, my girlfriend's dad always gives me shit. Even my own dad. My dad gives me shit for being a Yankees fan, but when I came to Canada, it was like the first baseball team I watched, and they sucked when we came to Canada. So I was like, yeah, I guess I'm them. I don't care. So
I guess it could be worse. You could be a Cowboys fan.
Oh God.
Yeah. Wait, but you were there like around the time that the 93 and 92 Jays won the World Series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't end up being your team.
No. I don't know. I don't know. I it's weird that I'm not any local teams or Canadian teams.
Yeah, that I find that very puzzling. But yeah, teach their own.
Oh, Biggie. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He's a Cincinnati Reds fan, so.
Oh man, why are you gonna sit on my man's team like that? Damn.
I mean, they got Joey Votto. He's Canadian, but I mean, they haven't really done anything since Pete Rose, and you know, we all know what Pete Rose did in baseball. So,
listen, come on, man, come on, give my man a break. That man should be in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Hey, listen, he's in the WWE Hall of Fame, so he's at least in one Hall of Fame.
Rock, we can still be friends. We just won't talk baseball, okay? Sith Lordy, free Pete Rose.
I agree. Free Pete Rose. Thank you.
Pete
All
Rose
right,
is going to be on Spine Ticks.
Let's shift gears because our baseball show isn't debuting until 2025, so we got time to talk baseball. Let's continue on with the comics. Next book on the list, number 7 on this list, is a book we actually talked about on the spec show on Sunday. So we got Captain America number 90. If you guys follow FaceTime, you guys will know you actually just picked this book up. Actually, did you post it?
You know what? Actually, I don't think I did post it yet. But yeah, I actually just picked this book up yesterday. I think yesterday or the day before. I don't know, something like that.
So the importance of this book, ladies and gentlemen, is this is the first appearance of Mother Superior, who later becomes Sin, who is Red Skull's daughter. So you know she has probably had Falcon and Winter Soldier and even Cap on her list. Who's to say we don't see her? There's a lot of people who think this is happening but aren't really picking up the book. Regardless if for spec or not, I love this cover. I really, really like this book.
It stands out, yeah.
Yeah, the white and black. I mean, it just has that negative, one of those the negative zone books like that Iron Man, that Rogue, those ones. Like this one is really cool. I think this is a very undervalued book because most people just know it as the first appearance of Mother Superior, and they don't do the research and know who that is. The important thing here is she becomes Sin and is Red Skull's daughter. That's the one thing that sticks out here the most, and I touched on it on the spec show on Sunday. Right? These raw copy, man. Like, Face, how much did you pay for your copy?
I paid $5 for it. Yeah,
they are literally so cheap. I think on eBay, the ones I saw were like maybe on the high end, like $10-11 Canadian. So that's like nothing.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of talked about this with you guys in the private chat, how when you look at the casting for Falcon and Winter Soldier, there's 2 actors that are supposed to appear in all 6 episodes, but they still haven't defined their roles yet. It's almost like they're revealing what their roles are. One is a young female of Asian descent. I don't know exactly. Like, we were trying to figure out amongst ourselves what role she could possibly be. Who knows? Maybe it's this one. But I mean, it's kind of interesting that for those 2 particular actors, they didn't actually disclose what their roles are on the TV series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't have to convince me on this book. I went ahead and picked it up. Now, that being said,
2 copies, right? You got 2 that you
yeah. Yep. Okay. Now, that being said, though, I should qualify that by saying, just because I went out and picked it up doesn't necessarily mean that I think that, Sin or Mother Superior or anything like that is going to show up in the show. Like, for me, like we were just talking about backstage, I love watching spec shows, like, because then people, you get to hear all these guys talk about books that, might not have been talked about for years and everything like that. And you find these minor keys that they're mentioning and everything. And it's a book I want to add to my collection, so I'm gonna pick it up regardless of any of the MCU spec or any of that bullshit. And this fits that criteria. I picked it up because, like you were just saying, I love the fucking cover. It's a great cover on this, and first appearance, why not pick it up for $5?
Mm-hmm. So just to agree here with Dan, so he bought that at cover price, and then he adds, it pays to be a longtime collector. Well, Dan, right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 copies of a book that I hope in 20 years I will be able to say, man, it pays to be a long-term collector.
Well, and you did pay cover price. It's just that cover price was $0.
I was like, what book is he stacking that much of?
Yeah, so I'm hoping that book does something, but yeah.
And look, they just announced the new round of free comic book day issues for 2021. So let's see what the gems are for this year.
And how about Boom, man? Fucking.
Hey, we can talk about that. We can talk about that later. We can talk about that later. Let's keep it going.
For sure.
For Falcon, Cap, and Winter Soldier.
So sometimes we get a little sidetracked.
Yeah. But yeah, nevertheless, I mean, if even if you're not a Captain America fan, just for the art, I mean, I think this is a dope dope book to have. So if it's out there, I would recommend grabbing it. Never, always buy and stick to your guns, people. But, just a recommendation. Now, this one, I'm not really, I just put this out there because, it is a book that, everybody's telling you to pick up and, with for a right reason. But I just think that it's kind of out of the realm for me. Like when I do that comparison of like, am I really going to spend $500 on this in a 9.6? Because for $500, I can get, Thor 165. I can get Fantastic Four 67, 66, 45, a low grade 52, right? Which will look so much better than Captain America 323. But I know there's Captain America fans out there. I respect you, and I respect all comics. But this is the first appearance of John Walker as Super Patriot, later becomes U.S. agent, and it's the first team appearance of the Buckies. Raw copies are elling for $25 to $30 Canadian. But here's the important factor here is when you look at what the Raws compared to the CGC, it's just like ridiculous because a 9.6 just sold for $500 Canadian.
Yeah, I kind of like those anniversary covers that they did back in the I think it was like late 80s, where like different series had this kind of border around it. So I think I have the X-Men version of that. But yeah, this is a book that we know that the character is John Walker is appearing in the series. Now they never actually specified that he's going to appear as a Super Patriot. They just mentioned John Walker. So we don't know like Faye said, what if there's a season 2? Maybe at that point he might become Super Patriot. Maybe not. Maybe he might actually do the transformation this season. All we know is the character John Walker is appearing in the actual. So yeah, you see the price right there. Honestly, if I was really into this character, into this book, I would take a gamble on a raw copy and look for a nice one. Personally, like you, I wouldn't spend like $500 on a 9.6. I'd gamble on a raw copy and just hope for a high grade.
I think this is short-lived, like this stuff.
Yeah,
but the only thing that I think gets this character off is not necessarily the fact they're saying that he's going to be there, because we know he's going to be there. But there's that scene too where
we don't need to know what.
It looks like he's what? Like it looks like a pep rally on a football field, and he's like running to that star in the middle, high-fiving. I think that's John Walker right there. And again, it just goes.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah, and I think it just goes back to what I said earlier, right? Where like at the end of every episode, we're probably going to have the question of like, who is Captain America, or like who do they want to be Captain America? I think the whole premise of this is going to be who's taking the mantle, because again, the government does not want Sam Wilson as Captain America. So it's not bad. But again, I'm with you, Hyper. I look at that price point for a 9.6. Especially for investment reasons. I mean, in the investment game, on a book like this, you don't want anything lower than a 9.6. And for $500, I think that's just a little too steep right now. Mm-hmm. If I was a really big fan of John Walker, U.S. agent, I would be all over it, but I'm not. So I would recommend, if you are a fan of this, maybe wait till later on, because I don't think this character does have a lot of legs or longevity, to be honest.
Well, you mentioned the star scene on the football field, and I believe it was confirmed that is him in that scene. As far as, well, again, all of these books so far that we brought up here have had great covers, and this is another one that has a pretty great cover. The border definitely helps it, because a lot of people are a fan of those border covers. So it's solid on that pickup alone. It's got the first appearance of John Walker as Super Patriot. But the thing is, like, it is an interesting character, because a character like that, if it's portrayed in the right way, that type of character can take off. We've seen it before with, like, you think about like The Walking Dead, and when they brought Daryl and Merle in, they sort of used Merle more than anything to establish, the type of characters that they were initially supposed to be, kind of bigoted and racist, big rough, and all that. But then they had that kind of like redemption type of story going on for Daryl, and it because of him portraying it, how well he did it and everything, people love that character. So if they do get the right portrayal, you could see something like that happen. It is still kind of just a B character in Captain America's world. So
yeah,
he's mostly just going to be guest appearances and shit like that. If anything else.
So wait, you said
I think he has the same longevity as, say, like a Red Guardian, to me.
so. But wait, Face, you said he was like
he
a B
could have
level
more
character?
than. What's that?
You said he was like a B level character?
Well, in the Captain America world, yeah.
So that makes him, what, 2 levels higher than Iron Man then, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I think he's got a little bit more legs than like Red Guardian, because I think we kind of know that he's probably one off as far as we're just gonna see in the movie. Whereas Johnny Walker, you could still see him show up in a couple of different guest appearances, but probably not much more strength than that.
Yeah. Side note, I do want to say, Sam, thanks so much, man. Even Dan says, Sam, you're the best on the spot comic price reporter in the business. Yeah. And,
right, we're gonna have to get Sam on the show at some point.
Yeah. So Sam, I really do appreciate you when you do this, man. It means a lot. So thank you. All right. Next book, we're going into number 9, but we've got, I believe this is a book that I was actually very heavily talking about, and I got laughed at a shop once for.
Seems like a lot of people are laughing at you.
Damn,
this isn't one of them. Yeah, they sometimes laugh at my spec or like things I say, but then like, when it comes and hits, they're like, oh shit, man, sorry. This isn't the book. Actually, I think it's the next one. So this is U.S. Agent #1. This is the first solo series. Raw copies are selling super cheap. They're literally going between like $1 and like $5. I think if you're spending $4, you're spending way too much. This one you could find in dollar bins. Again, if you're a fan of the character, which you might be. I mean, Key Issues is a fan of Dupe. So there's niches for these characters. But it is important to note that this book is out there, and if the character does have a hit or does have a little bit of success, who knows what the future looks like? We don't. So that's something to keep into consideration, which could make the value of this book go up. Do I think this is a $1,000 book? Not a chance. But then again, West Coast Avengers 45 was selling at the same price as Deadpool. So who knows? But do I think you could find this book for, anywhere from, $1 to $8 and maybe make a, $20 one day? Maybe, but it depends on the longevity of the character. We know we're getting them, so who knows how and how long that is, right? So not a bad book to be on the lookout for if you just come around to it.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that you only put raw data, because I don't really I can't imagine a lot of people slabbing this book.
No, there was none. There was none I could find anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I mean, this is
where like Sam's gonna make his money, because if he comes and fucking he's like, hey newbie, someone's actually
bro, he's got it. If it's on the census, he's gonna have that info. Watch.
Or Sam's gonna be like, oh sorry man, I was in the washroom, or like I was grabbing a drink. Sorry, I didn't. What was the last? You can play that card,
right?
I'm sure there is a book on the census that is in the CGC like 9.8 or whatever at whatever grade, but it's just like I don't foresee a lot of people floating this slab in the market. And I mean, I could almost assure that this is one of those things that you could easily probably find, maybe not easily, but you could probably find in the dollar bin section.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that there's slabs on the census. It's probably not a lot, but there are those guys that go out there and they'll buy up comics just because there's like none on the census or really low counts on the census. So I'm sure somebody's got this slabbed at some point, but yeah, it's probably not a lot. So But again, this is another one. It's a great cover and a low price. I mean, you could probably all the books that have talked about on this show so far, you could probably walk out of an LCS for
Yeah.
Yeah, because
20
a lot of
bucks.
I mean, a lot of the books we talked about, I think none of them are like in the Bronze Age. They're pretty much in the Copper Age and above. Actually, not even. Yeah, I would say late Copper to modern. Because I think
I would
the
say so.
oldest book, the oldest book I think you've shown so far is probably the late 80s, I think.
Yep.
But most of the stuff is like from the
Like-
2000s and 90s. So yeah.
This next book is the one that I was talking about, and again, a shop laughed at me, even though one of my arguments was, well, the show is coming, man. He's going to be in the show. And at the time, these books were like, you could find them. I think you could find them as high as maybe $40, high grade. But now this book is just crazy.
Let's see.
Captain America 354, first appearance of U.S. Agent. Now, the importance with this one over 323, which is the first appearance of John Walker, is the fact that it goes back to that old debate of, well, it's not a debate, but just the old saying, right? We want the character when the character is what it is, meaning you look at Quasar. You look at, give me another example, people. Quasar.
Cletus Cassidy.
This one, Carnage, Cassidy, like all those, right? Like, what's the bigger book? ASM 344 or 361? It's 361, right? Carnage, speaking with Carnage, Toxin and Patrick Mulligan. That one comes to mind too. Venom vs. Carnage 1 is way cheaper than number 2. Why? Because it's not the character that we know him to be. So you always want it when the character is what it is, right? So for that reason, I think this one is the one you would rather much have. But I get it because like a Soars, and you were saying about the borders, a lot of people did pick those up. This one, he will be on the show. It's confirmed. This thing is exploding. 9.6 was selling for between 400 and 600 Canadian.
Wait, Newbie, just a question. Is it confirmed that he's taking on the U.S. Agent moniker in the show, or
it's not confirmed that he's taking that role, but he's in the show. And again, it goes back to that clip of him running on, like, that we know of, that's him running onto that field for that like pep rally thing.
Yeah,
I think
it does look like the U.S. Agent. It does look like U.S. Agent, the outfit that he's wearing. So
right.
It's not for sure, but it does look like it.
Sam found one. He found a 9.8 U.S. Agent number 1 sold for $156. Wow. Hey, Sam, that's pretty dope, man. Thank you for that. I did not find that information, so thank you so much.
Oh, okay. So the previous slide. Okay.
Yeah, the previous one. And Jay Monty, what's going on, man? U.S. Agent number 1 has 9.8s on. Wow. So a lot of people.
Yeah, that's low.
That's still pretty low in the sense.
Yeah. Seriously.
11 U.S. Agent number 1 on census, 8 in 9.8. Wow. So
yeah.
Wow.
So not a big number. Yeah, like I said, it was one of those books that I didn't expect a lot of people to slab.
No. So this one, again, when you look at the price and you look at the character, I'm not the biggest Captain America fan and all the jazz that comes with it. I am a Winter Soldier fan, 100%. But when I look at this and I look at the prices, I compare it to the books that I could have rather than this one. It's a no-brainer for me, just simply because I have no interest in this character. And that's not to say if you like this character, it's a bad thing. It's just, everyone has different cups of tea. This one is not mine. That's all.
And I have one more example for you regarding character versus person, like
What's
something that's more relevant today. Dane Whitman versus Black Knight.
Ooh, so Avengers 47 and 48. Yeah. 48 is clearly the winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is another one. We said it, I've said it on I think every single issue so far. Great cover, but yeah, this is a bit of a higher price point to buy in at it. So I would be more tempted to lay off of it right now. just because it's going to be higher, you know, and then pick it up when it's between seasons or some shit like that. But yeah,
It's pretty
great
much
cover.
yeah. No, I was gonna say it's pretty much like what's happening with the WandaVision books. I'm sure it's gonna be the same case with
Yeah,
this.
oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you don't-
exactly.
And even though people know that it's coming, it's like people are still going to scramble to get some books, and it shows that FOMO is real. Whether you believe it or not, I mean, it's real. So,
For sure.
should I buy this right now for a quick flip? Well, Sam
I mean,
just
you
said,
can.
Sam just said one sold in a 9.8 for 368. I think it just depends on if you think that he's going to be shown super early, has a role throughout the show, or if it's just like a one and done. He comes in one episode, the next episode he's done, or we don't see him until the end. Then I could see your investment being used in a different way. However, if it were me, even if I took that $368, which apparently one sold for in a 9.8, I would take that money and probably put it towards Heroes for Hire 1, Fantastic 467, Thor 165. That's just what I would do, me personally. I don't know. It's 6 episodes. That's all it is. It's 6 episodes. So we're really going to get a lot of, like, I expect to see like 3 or 4, characters and like basically know what the plot is like the first episode, because we only have 6 episodes.
And unfortunately, the unfortunate part is like if you're asking right now if you should pick it up, I'm gonna say that you might be a bit late to the party with this book, because the trend is it's already kind of on that upswing already. So this is one of those books, like Faith said, that if you are thinking of grabbing it, you may want to wait until the show kind of runs its course for the next 6 weeks or so, because I have a feeling that unless you find it, like I said, in a back issue bin where it wasn't priced correctly, most of the stores probably caught on and are probably pricing it with the market. But you never know, you might find it.
And X, I was saying that earlier too, like the same with Wanda, right? But like the market is still gonna have a spike with a lot of these books, and it was very evident in WandaVision where we all knew certain characters were going to be there. Even when we watched the first 3-4 episodes, we knew characters were there, and some books were still getting like super priced and super spiked, and people were still picking them up, even though they knew it was 9 episodes only, right? So I could see this going up, no doubt. But I mean, would you really want to take that chance on a book that's you're almost you're basically late to the party?
Yeah, it's like stocks. You want to buy it when it's on its down, not when it's on the up.
Yeah. All right. Next book, number 11. Incredible Hulk 449. So we got the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. Raw copies are in the $100 range. A CGC 9.4 just sold for 250 Canadian. Again, this is an investment book for you. You don't really want it in the 9.4 just because of the amount of 9.6s and 9.8s that are out there. It's a book that we've all passed in the last couple of years. I remember when this book was like $25, high grade, and I was like, nah, because I'm not really the biggest Hulk fan to begin with. And, there's something to be said when it's 2012, 2013, and somebody's telling you, hey, man, there's going to be Thunderbolt movie or the Thunderbolts are coming. And it's 2021, 8 years later, and it still hasn't come, or it's about to come. So it just depends on like your patience and what you can do with the books. If you can hold on to it for 8 years, right? Like, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I remember when Eternals 1 in a high grade was like $50 or $100, right? So it all just depends on what level of patience you have as a collector, because again, people were telling me that this was going to be a thing in 2012 and 2013. So
I was out of the game at that time, so I didn't realize it was a thing back then.
Yeah. And I was being told about this book at the same time that I was being told about what's it called, Eternals, Nova, like all those books were super cheap during that time. So
right.
They're still coming, supposedly.
Yeah, and this is one of those books that was like the product of the 90s that you would think that these copies would be cheaper than what they are. But you know, the MCU has the power to kind of bring these books to a new level.
Yeah.
This is a book that I like. Unlike the previous slide, this book I still feel could have more room for growth, just because there hasn't really, even though there's been hints, nothing has been confirmed with the Thunderbolts actually appearing in the MCU. So I feel that once you get a bit of a confirmation, you'll get another boost in the value in this book. So
A boost. Look at what Sam just put.
Yeah,
That's
and I hope
ridiculous, man. For Thunderbolts, like, okay,
I hope he gets every
I know,
fucking
I
cent of
know
it, bro.
Faith and a lot of people like Thunder. I get it, but like, man,
No,
now we're just disrespecting some books here. Like, you're talking about Werewolf by Night. You're talking about ASM 129. You're talking about a lot of Tomb of Dracula. Like, you're talking about like, man, I don't know. That's just crazy.
No. Thunderbolts is where it's at, but I hope he gets every cent of that shit because I got 5
Oh
booths and I'm in 9/8.
I
hope he gets every dime, bro.
Look, and I never shit on any characters, artist, or nothing, no comment, right? Like, we all have our own favorites. We pick whatever. But me personally, I would never pay $1,400 for Thunderbolts.
that to me personally, that seems like a bit of an outlier. I'm more curious what actually sold in a 9.8, because I don't see. I mean, it's a cool team and all that, but I just don't see a book like this selling for $1,400 yet in 9.8. I think it might get to that point, but I don't think yet it can command that much of an asking price for a 9.8.
No, Hyper, damn it. I want him to get every cent of it, bro.
Rock, I totally forgot because you were kind of joking at the beginning. Did you message me yet? I don't know if I got a message from you yet. From last show when I asked you, but let me know. If you forgot, it's all good, man. It's all good.
But to Rock's point, that's exactly what I'm saying. Rock said that. Okay.
The one did sell, so $500 difference, right?
Yeah.
550, call it.
It's a bit more palatable when it's 900.
I wouldn't pay basically $1,000 for Thunderbolt.
That's still a nice price.
Yeah, it's still
I'd rather have Venom. I would rather get in and buy in late to ASM 300 at that price than buy this one.
I mean, it just depends too, though, because look at what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, really, Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't shit before the movies, and
Yeah.
I'll check, man. I'll check.
There's a chance that they could take off, especially because the Thunderbolts kind of has that sort of Guardians of the Galaxy type of vibe to them.
Yeah, but I think Eternals is going to take that role on, man. So I don't know. Who knows, right? That's why
it's definitely possible.
Yeah, that's why we spec. And yeah, Universe X is right. It only takes one person to sell a book, and then everything else just comes down. So
yeah, but that one person could be selling that shit to themselves and all, all kinds of other.
But here's the thing too, and I think this is something that this was brought up to me not too long ago, and it kind of just opened my mind to realizing stuff. Is there's new collectors and new people that come into our community every day. And I think that that's why it's very important to teach the new people a lot of the ways, like not necessarily what to buy, but just, tell them like, hey, if you see this book, maybe be on the lookout for, know the difference between a facsimile, like just all this stuff. But the biggest thing is new people are coming into this all the time. And it was brought to my attention that somebody says, but newbie, understand something. Like when we came into the community, right? Like we might have picked up on some characters that necessarily now are just super priced out. So think about that 18 to 20-year-old that's coming into the community. He's got a job and he's got some money and he wants to buy something that's going to give him money. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to search the 5 comics that you need to have in order to make a huge investment. So he goes down the list and he sees Hulk 181, Giant Size X-Men 1, Ultimate Fallout 4, all these books. Go look at the prices of those books, though. Those people are coming in, and that's what they're buying right off the hop. So, of course, prices are always going to go up because there's always going to be that new money coming in, right? And I never really looked at it from that way, but it just really hit me the other day because I was complaining. I think X was on the receiving end of this because I was talking to him about it. But like Thor 165, like A week ago, a 7.5 was like $650, $700. Now it's almost like $1,000. It's like so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Hey, newbie. Hey,
Style
good.
Comics. What is going on, man? Thank you so much for tuning in. You're always very generous. Thank you so much, man.
Much appreciated.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you're tuning in, man. It means a lot. Thank you so much. I hope we're giving some good advice. I'm not butchering any words today or stuttering, so these guys haven't really been able to, poke fun, but we're getting through.
We're trying though.
We're trying.
RP said lucked out and got a 9.6 couple weeks ago. What a jump! Yeah, that's the thing, man. That is the thing.
And newbie, in regards to what you were saying about all the other newbies coming into the business, the best piece of advice that you could have or give to somebody that's just starting out is just do your research. Try and get as many sources as possible, because a lot of people there's a lot of people out there like us that are saying shit on these channels, and you know what? Really, ultimately, fuck what we say about anything. It just comes down to what you want to collect, how you want to build your collection, everything like that. But make sure you do your research, because there's a lot of bad information out there too.
Yeah,
so.
I just saw two people, and shout outs to the Young Gunners, as Mel V and Batcave call them, but like Decor and Manny posted some people were selling facsimiles of New Mutants 98 for like 200 for $200, and I'm like, but that's how you're getting that's how new people get screwed. And then guess what that does? Because when those new people realize what that is later, when they go and tell their friends, oh my god, I got Deadpool #1, they're like, what the fuck, right? Like, they're gonna get screwed, and then they're gonna get turned away, and they're gonna have a black eye towards the comic community, right? And I just think it's important. I believe in inclusion. I believe in all that, and we all love talking comics. Why not? Like, we all at one point, especially with the social media and the YouTube stuff, we've all had questions. I know I messaged some guys with questions, and I feel like if you're not asking questions and you're not learning every day, you're wasting a day, because every day is a new opportunity to learn. So I'm always learning stuff, whether it be in life or comics. I'm always learning. Every day in comics, I am learning.
The other thing is like don't be trigger happy when it comes to these books. Like I like when we did that whole Micronauts 8 thing, and then we saw how those eBay prices were, people just buy them off shelves. Take a moment to look around and find. I mean, obviously, if money's not an object to you, that's a different case. But for a lot of us, we try to be budget conscious in our comic spending. So, don't get consumed by like the first thing you see. Look, there's a lot of I find joy in just digging through back bins and then finding those gems that normally would be wall books and all that. It's out there. So and that's kind of what makes a hobby fun for me, at least.
Big shout out to RP, by the way. He's from Toronto. Dude, I am from Niagara, so we are not far away from one another. I don't go to Toronto that much. So, but yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, usually when I hit those big cities and go do those shops, I always put it out there like, hey, man, I'm going to be in this city. If anyone's around, let me know. So, yeah, if I'm ever in Toronto, man, I'll give you a shout out. Be on lookout. But yeah, I'm in Niagara, St. Catharines, Niagara Falls area. So yeah.
No, I got a question on that regard though.
On what regard?
Whenever you show up at these shops, how much do you charge for autographs, and will you sign my tits?
Yo, get the fuck out of here, man. Yo, next book.
Can I get booted out of this show just right now, please? You can need a moment.
So you guys know that a lot of people were talking about Captain America #6. There's 2 prints. That is the first full appearance of Winter Soldier. I had that. I had 2 copies. I just sold them. These guys will tell you, and I told you guys on Sunday. I think I made a mistake and I sold it way too early. I think I would have held on to it, another week or so. Probably could have made a big more, but nevertheless, I made profit. Whoever bought it got a good deal. So it worked out for everybody, right? Here's the thing, though. This book right here is probably something that was really slept on, because a lot of people tend to always go for first appearances and then never realize the origin. Origins, I believe, are very undervalued. But we've got the origin of Winter Soldier. You got that iconic metal arm with the star. I really like this cover. I like the fact that there's like no Nazi stuff because number 6 does have all that Nazi stuff, whether you go with cover A or cover B. The first app could be out of reach for some people. So I really think that a lot of people will kind of jump ship and kind of try to get this one. And yeah, raw copies are selling between 50 and 80 bucks. A 9.4 sold for $40 Canadian all in on January 3rd.
Wow.
That I would have bought that if I would have known that was out there. I would have bought it.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have paid $50 for it, to be honest with you. Like literally $40. You literally lost money.
Cost of grading.
Yeah, like
I'm still just in shock of what Faye said in the last part
about his.
Yeah, I'm still kind of. I think I'm gonna suffer from PTSD after this. You're right. Origin stories are definitely undervalued, and that's usually like the next best thing. Well, it's usually first appearances, and then sometimes if that's not available, it's like the first cover. But in this case, we know that his first appearance was also his first cover appearance, so that origin would probably be cover B. You're right. But yeah, the origin issue would probably be the next best thing that people would chase after, because that first appearance, and that's another book that for the longest time I was seeing it like in LCSs for like $25-$50. His that was issue
6.
What issue was issue 6, right?
6.
So
I had a 9.4 which I sold, and when I sold it on the same day, there was a 9.8 that sold for $500.
Yeah.
I expect those 9.8s to reach $800, possibly $1,000, because of the fact for the next 6 weeks, it's just going to be Falcon, Winter Soldier, Falcon, Winter Soldier. It's going to be in our face, and that's what we are going. That's what we do as a community, as the FOMO, rather. That's just what happens, right? So.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I know the chat saying Origin's not as valuable as. Yeah, we're not saying that Origins are not as valuable as first appearances, but we're saying it's like the next best thing when that first appearance is out of reach. Yeah. It's almost like it's like a consolation prize, I guess, for collectors.
And you see it all the time. You see it with a lot of bigger books, like that Iron Man there. Tales of Suspense 39 is out of my reach. So what do a lot of people like me do that like Iron Man? We get Iron Man 1. Namor, Submariner. I mean, most people think that it's Fantastic Four number 4, but technically he's got like a Golden Age appearance. But people go to that Fantastic Four number 4, which is the first Silver Age continuity. They can't afford that. It's $2,000. So what do? They go for Submariner number 1, which is like a $500 book, right? We see it all the time. But I just think that I get what Rag is saying, and a lot of people might think like, hey, it's not as valuable. 100%. But during the 6-week period where we get the show, you will be surprised at what people will pay for that book and what you could advertise it for and get money for from a flip and investment purpose, right? Obviously, and you've heard me say this a lot, but obviously if this is your character, if this is your guy and you want to get in now, this is the worst time to get in, because once the show's over and the next thing comes, these books, including Captain America 6, they'll have a little dip. They won't decline, but they'll have a little dip.
Yeah, and actually, an example that also comes to mind right now is Galactus's first appearance, Fantastic Four 49. Obviously, that's out of reach for a lot of people. But then remember,
okay, sorry, go ahead.
Remember, there was like that. I think it was called Marvel Presents Galactus. There was that one shot. Just it has the name Galactus on the front cover. That's almost like his origin story.
Yes. Yeah. I know exactly what book you're talking about.
That kind of had an uptick in value just because, like I said,
that had a spike in the summer, man. Yeah. So
it goes to show that there is some, not all, but you do see people taking stock in origin tales.
Yeah.
Of characters.
And especially when it's right in your face, right? Like Rag, I don't know if you were here when I said it, but like the difference between the shows and the movies, where we watch a movie and then we don't necessarily get the next movie or anything for like 8 to 10 months later or a year later. So we don't know where the pieces are. At least in the show, we're going week by week for the short duration. And as everybody's literally talking about it for 6 weeks, people's minds go crazy, and they might go chase these books. And we saw it what happened with WandaVision. I think WandaVision had a bigger impact in the sense that like there's the multiverse and the magic world, where this one, I don't want to count it out, but who knows, right? So
yeah. I mean, Rag is definitely right. First appearances are always going to command
100%.
the premium over the origin issues. But yeah, like you said, you can definitely see a spike with this. It's a cool cover again.
It's white too, so those high grades. Yeah. There might not be many of them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So
for sure.
And it's pretty cheap to get it. It's not too bad. So
yeah. So we got 3 books left, and then we will take questions from the chat on any books that we might have missed, or if you have any thoughts on. And then I want to give you newbies. What the hell do you think this book could be if it hits for this show? I didn't put it in the PowerPoint because I was thinking about it, and I'm like, but I really do want to talk about it. So we'll get to that as well. So we got 3 books left. Number 13. Here we go. We got Captain America, number 34. Bucky Barnes as Captain America. Raw copy selling anywhere between $30 and $50. High grade. Look at that book. It is white. I know there's a lot of covers, but that is a white cover. It's going to be very hard to find those very high grades. Last CGC sold was a 9.6 for $180. However, that was the Ross variant. It wasn't the cover A. I couldn't find any cover A. So Sam, if you're still with us, let me know. But again, this is important based on this. The government does not. I feel weird saying the government because I feel like they're watching me and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck?" The government, the government does not want. The government does not want Sam Wilson as Captain America, and I think throughout the show we're gonna have that who is Captain and who's that. I think it's BS because I think that the last Captain America from the movie should have picked, which he did. So I think that that's how it should be. But again, I understand how the government in these movies is working. I think one of the biggest storylines to follow is who they want as Captain America. And I think every week we're going to get a little thing of like, okay, this guy's going to be Captain America now, or this is going to be Captain America. We got earlier on in the show with, Sam Wilson as Captain America. Now we're putting Bucky in because who knows, right? And at least Bucky is a super soldier as well. So keep that in mind. But again, a 9.6 at 180, if you're a Winter Soldier fan, if you're a Captain America fan, that is not a bad buy-in. I think this book has I don't say a lot of room to grow, but just picture this. If you watch the show and at the end of the show, Bucky is Captain America, that 180 turns into like 300 or more. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind.
Sam actually has sales data for us. 9.8 signature series selling for $150.
Big shout outs to Brian for tuning in, man. If you guys don't know who Brian is, you must be living on Mars or coming back from, Save the Trees and there was no internet. Tales from the Flip Side. He's got a podcast as well, but check them out. Fridays just before Drunken Chat, 11 p.m. They put out great content. Brian is one of the nicest guys. And I will say this. I don't think he's from Toronto or Canada, but he's always repping an Austin Matthews jersey. And I hate Austin Matthews. My girlfriend loves Austin Matthews. I hate Austin Matthews.
I don't blame him. Listen, he's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so clearly he's a man of high intelligence. So I respect the dude.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Back to the book. Back to the book. Hyper, what do you got to say, man?
This one, I think you pretty much said everything I was going to say. I mean, this is one of those books where it's very much it's a wild card pick for me. It's not a book that I would spend too much on, just because there's a lot that can kind of either bring this book up or bring this book down in terms of how things shake out in the TV series. So it's one of those things that, yeah, be on the lookout for it, but I'm not going to break the bank for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I won't chase it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ratio on solid covers for these books tonight is pretty damn good. I think we've had one shitty cover, man. This is another good one. As far as what's going to happen in the show in regards to Bucky taking up the role of Cap, who knows? it could be a temporary thing. They could do a switcheroo or some shit. Like it's hard to say what they'll do. Regardless of that, though, it's still a cool issue to have if you can catch it affordably. So.
Do you guys
And
think
it's one you might find in back issue bins too, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Some
Because a
shops
lot of
might
people
be
won't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys think? And again, this is just not speculation, but this is just like a what if, right? We all do this with outside of comics, But do you guys foresee a scene maybe at the end where even if they did, go to Bucky, like I could totally see them, or rather Falcon. I could totally see a scene where they go, you want to be Captain America. Well, here's your chance, and then they give Falcon like the serum, or they end it on they open a briefcase and they're like, well, you wanted to be Captain America, and then it just like ends like that. Like I could totally see something like that.
I don't think. Okay, see, if that was to happen, I don't think they're gonna tease us with it all the way till the end. I think that would be something that, if they were gonna do it, they would probably do it a bit earlier on in the series.
Well, because here's my thought process.
So wait, hold up. You're saying they're gonna possibly give Falcon superpowers?
I'm just saying, like, what? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, what if that could be something that they do? Because here's something that somebody was kind of putting in my head, and they were like, like we were just shooting the shit, we were just chatting, and they go, a lot of people think that Omega Red and not a lot, but some characters from like Alpha Flight maybe, or like the Weapon X program isn't, not necessarily Wolverine. I doubt they bring in Wolverine in this show. There's no way, right? But then they started saying like, like who's to say that they don't have like some of these like serums or like, some of these characters from Alpha or Weapon, like just all this stuff. And I was thinking, I'm like, I mean, at this point, I'd be, like anything, like nothing would surprise me kind of thing. But I think it's just interesting because if you're bringing Omega Red, like some people are saying, then who's to say that they don't bring in some of those characters that would technically fight him near the end or something? I don't know. I'm always looking for that curveball with Marvel. I always feel like they show you what they want you to show, or they want to show you what they want you to know, but they have like 7 things going on behind that, like that wall of what they want you to show. So who knows?
Well, and the other thing is you have to realize that these shows, they're not meant to be self-contained series. They're meant to be series that are supposed to lead into the bigger picture of the MCU. So just like with WandaVision, where they had a few things that kind of led into, little breadcrumbs and, strings that, need to be tied into Doctor Strange, the next sequel. I'm sure this series will have the same thing where they're going to have certain unresolved issues and little curveballs, like you mentioned, twists and turns that will set up things for. I'm not sure which movie this series could set things up for, but it's definitely playing into the bigger picture of the.
Because I do want to put this out there too, and I always tell people, I say, listen, when you're bored, Google some of this stuff, but Google the contracts or how long these characters have signed on. Sebastian Stan signed on for a 3. I think somebody, last time I said this, I said 3, and somebody corrected me at 4. But he's signed for another 4 projects. So keep that in mind. Same with Don Cheadle, right? Like he is signed for 3 more projects. How long? Whether those are like little cameos or whatever. Like you guys got to keep in mind that some of these actors are signed on to some roles. So you got to keep that in mind too. With like, okay, so clearly we're going to get Winter Soldier for a bit longer after this, and who knows. So just some stuff that I always tell people, hey, maybe search, what's going on with these characters as well, right?
I'm assuming that Anthony Mack probably signed some sort of a similar deal, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. All right.
It's the MCU, and they can do whatever they want in there, but the only thing is, that would be a pretty big character deviation. So I can only imagine what the nerd grade backlash that they would get for it would be. But I think it would be pretty interesting. They gave Falcon fucking superpowers, even maybe if it's just temporarily or something. It'd be cool to see it,
But that's how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the end of this show, like everything's settled and whatever, everybody's cool, they're joking, and then they're like, Falcon, come here. And then they take him into this like, laboratory. And then there's like, they open the briefcase and they're like, well, you wanted to be Captain America. And then it ends like that, right? Like, that's just how like, because
So
I
does
know
he keep the wings?
if that happened, this is everybody. Holy shit. What? Like, that's the reaction.
Yeah.
Get, right? So
Does he keep the wings though if they give him the serum?
They gotta.
yeah, they got to. I mean, it's not like they can fly.
Right. You can't take the wings
So,
from him.
That's part of.
Sam's got a question. How long will the episodes be for Falcon? I'm assuming they're going to be the same as WandaVision, right?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like in the 40-minute mark.
Maybe a little
They're gonna
bit
be-
longer just because we're not getting 9 episodes. We're only getting 6.
They're going to be an hour long. 30 minutes of a show, 30 minutes of credits.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to book number 14. And again, at the end of this presentation, I will give you a book that maybe you should be on the lookout for. I didn't put it on here because I was kind of debating. I wasn't like really sold on it. I woke up today being like, you know what? I'm sold on it. And then we could talk about some books that maybe you guys in the chat or ladies have in mind that maybe we missed because we aren't perfect. So yeah. So book number 14, Captain America 209. Now here's what I'll say about this one. 208 is maybe the one to get. I mean, even though it is kind of like a cameo, 209 is technically the first full. It kind of gets into that like first full, things like that. But Armin Zola, raw copy selling anywhere between $5 and $18. A very undervalued book. Hyper and Face, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember if you mentioned this book, but I know Hyper messaged me saying, hey, did you put this on the presentation? So I will turn it to Hyper for this book.
Yeah, because I mean, I know that this character, people may have kind of forgot about him because at the end of I think it was either Civil War or Winter Soldier, we basically see the mainframe of Armin Zola being destroyed because his actual body was already, dead a long time, and then his consciousness was, put into the Hydra mainframe. So the assumption was that once that was all destroyed, Armin Zola is gone. But the thing is, because you can never count out the fact that he could be transferred into another piece of technology and that he could resurface in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's why I feel that, even though there's no confirmation of any sort, I have read some articles where they have been hinting at him possibly appearing. Nothing's confirmed, but this is just one of those characters that is a wild card pick in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, it's a really good one because the thing about this character and even with the way that they've built him in the MCU in regards to how he shows up in the comics, they haven't quite got there yet. Ultimately, like his final, I guess his final form in the comics, where like the TV, and the dude and everything like that.
TV.
Yeah. They haven't got quite to that point in the MCU. So when they get there, the thing is, they don't really have to concern themselves with that leaking out so much because unless it's photos or something like that, because they could completely recast that role and you'd have no idea if they go that route with him. So he definitely could be a sleeper to show up.
Yeah.
Sam is saying 9.6 is selling, not sold, is selling for 200. Let's call it 48. And an 8.5 is selling for $60.
And the thing is, a fact about this character was the whole storyline, the Rick Remender run, where we had the old man Steve Rogers, and where he passes on the Captain America mantle to Falcon. The major arc, the major villain in that story arc was Armin Zola. But again, it was when Armin Zola had his arms and legs, and he was like a much more different version than what you're seeing in the MC, where he's just basically a mainframe computer.
Right.
So he was very much integral during that transition when they went from Old Man Rogers to Falcon. So who's to say that he might not show up again in the MCU?
It's true.
It's definitely a good sleeper pick, man. I love it.
All right. Before we get on to the final book, this is not goodbye. This is not goodbye at all. But I want to just give the time for my guys to let you guys know where you can find them next on YouTube, Instagram, whatever. So I'm going to turn to Hyper. Hyper, let the people know where they can find you before we get on to the final book?
Sure. Yeah, so you could find me on Instagram on hyper.combo.comics, like it is on my handle right there. On my IG, you'll find a link to my YouTube channel. At the moment, I only currently have 2 videos uploaded. Plans are to roll out more videos as, schedule permits. And things that I have coming up, well, me and Face are currently working on a side project that, still in the works. And we'll let you know more details once we know what's going on our end. Thursday, me and Newbie will be appearing on Team Nerd Herd during their mail call session, which appears at 10 p.m. Eastern, so 7 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, as Newbie mentioned before, Saturday we'll continue our social media tour at Spine Ticks, where we'll be joining that crew at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern.
Now, I do want to mention one thing. If you're expecting Newbie to be on for 8 hours, like if you're getting off work at 3, 4 in the morning and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go tune in to Spine Ticks because Newbie's on. I am not staying up until 6, 7 in the morning on Spine Ticks, but I will be there for about 2, 3 hours. We're going to be kicking it. I'm going to have a lot of fun. So yeah. So just keep that in mind. I don't want people, getting off at 5 in the morning at work and be like, I thought Newbie was going to be, yeah, you won't see me at 5 a.m. So I just want to let you know. I just want to let you know.
Uncle Sith called his nephew, so I kind of had to show up.
Yeah. All right, Face, before we get into the final book and the chat's books that we might have missed, where can people find you and what's going on with your YouTube channel?
Well, of course, you can find me on IG and over on the YouTube channel. Got a couple videos on there. Got one that needs to be reshot. That I'm going to get with Mr. Key Issues on, and hopefully we'll get a reshoot on that soon. As Hyper said, me and him got some plans in the works. And you can always find me trolling different chats especially when these guys show up, because I gotta show them love in my own way.
Yeah, well, clearly you wanted him to sign your tits at one point, so yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah, for sure, bro. With a tattoo gun.
Jeez. All right. So, and you guys know where to find me. But yeah, we're here for the comics, not for Newbie. So we're gonna go into the final book, and then I will give my one book I think you guys should be looking out for, and I want to hear thoughts on this. And then we can definitely take questions or books, concerns, anything the chat might have, okay? So, final book before we get into all that jazz. Here we go. I hope it's a good one. No,
I think it's a really good one, actually.
Yeah. Oh, this book.
So we got Tales of Suspense 75. This is Hyper's
what the hell is up with that 4th point? But we'll get to that after.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, this is Hyper's guy who plays this role, Georges St. Pierre. I heard he was okay in UFC. I don't know. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So fucking disrespectful right now.
we got a lot, and I'm Canadian too, so I shouldn't even be saying that.
Yeah,
we got a few.
Yeah, damn.
We got a few first appearances here that also are obviously in that Cap realm. We got Peggy Carter, Agent 13, who is Shannon Carter. So yeah, raw copies are selling between $60 and $80. CGC, I couldn't find any, so I'm hoping my guy Sam is still in here kicking and looking up those eBay prices. But yeah, this is also just one of those older books as well. $60 to $80 for one of these older books, especially if you're like, I know tons of people who collect Tales of Suspense. It's an expensive run to own if you have it. But $60 to $80 for a Tales of Suspense, not that bad.
Yeah, especially when there's 3 first appearances and all 3 of them have appeared in the MCU.
Oh my God, Rock. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But going back to this book, Peggy Carter, I think, has pretty much I never want to make any bold statements, but I think Peggy Carter pretty much has run her course in the MCU.
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, I agree.
I don't know. You never know, man. They could bring her back.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's probably, I don't want to give like a complete bullshit, just based on how the timeline is with, you know, how Endgame and all that played out.
We might see them in flashbacks.
Flashback, sure, but I
Yeah.
don't see her basically having any like, I don't see her character being further developed. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
flashbacks is one thing, but I don't see her progressing as a character in this
Mhm.
series. I'm more interested in that Batroc the Leaper. I mean, I know you just ragged on my guy GSP. I mean, we saw him do his little cameo in Falcon, not
No,
sorry, the
Captain America, Winter Soldier.
where he pretty much, you know, his acting wasn't that great, but we know that he is going to be appearing in the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, so I have a feeling this character will be fleshed out a bit more. And also, Shannon Carter, we saw her in the trailer. She seems to be taking a much more of a physical role in this series. As she, you know, you've seen her fighting alongside both Bucky and Sam, so it's just one of those books that you have 3 first appearances, so it's almost like it's like those books. Like, I'm not comparing this to Young Avengers #1, but it's like, you know, when you have a book that has multiple first appearances, it's just one of those things that, you know, it seems like it's like you're playing your odds better,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
Sam is saying an 8.5 sold for $362.
that's not bad for
Yeah, this is a great book. I mean, like Hyper said, and you mentioned 3 first appearances. That's awesome right off the top. The one of the other really cool things about this book, and that it's such a good fucking price for something, you know, that's that age.
Yeah.
And you know, got that many first appearances. I mean, that's an awesome price for that, to be honest. Like,
okay, so yeah,
I actually think I'm gonna try and look this one up and see if I can grab it.
Yeah, I think I almost got a chance to buy it, but I think someone grabbed it before I could. But this was actually one of those books that was on my radar for a bit.
So Rock is
Yeah,
doing what I
for
was,
that age,
what I was
love
telling everybody to do, was look at the contracts people were doing. So he was listening. So thank you, Rock. And he's saying that the Haley Atwell, who plays Peggy Carter, her contract concluded with Marvel. So while they could bring her back for things in the future, she's not obligated by her contract to do anything moving forward. So
probably done. Oh well, I mean, it would be cool to see her come back because, you know, people loved her, but yeah.
Justin, what's going on, man?
Any more contract?
No Good Comics, Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern or 3 p.m. Eastern. I always forget. 2 p.m. Eastern. He does origin stories with anybody. With a few people. Sorry, not everybody. I think this week's host is
Desired Comics.
Desired Comics. Yeah.
And actually, and today he actually did a video a few hours before we went live where he was talking with Morbius Comics about how variant comics are in the market. So that's actually a pretty good. I caught a bit of it. I had to catch the rest on the rewind, but it was an interesting discussion. So I definitely encourage you guys to check it out, especially if you're.
He's one of the good guys in the community, man. You know, there's a lot of nice guys in this community. He's one of them, definitely. So make sure you guys go check him out. He always supports a lot of channels. I try to catch his stuff as much as I can. So yeah, make sure you guys go check it out. I'm always about, you know, inclusion and building the community. So, you know, I'm always going to rep and support everybody. So, okay. So, and yeah, like Rock said, yeah, all these Tales of Suspense books, they're beautiful, man. And that's the thing. I mean, if you have the whole run, shoot, you got some money, because Tales of Suspense that is an expensive run. And you should also just A-OK me that number 39. Just saying. Okay. So the presentation is done, but I have one book that I really want to talk about. I want to get your thoughts, because you guys don't even know the book. I want to get the chat's thoughts on it. And then if the chat has any books that they want to talk about, I'm wide open. I'm able to talk about it. So let's do it. One of the books that I think could be, I'm trying to be, I don't want to give it away, so I want to kind of do it in like a riddle way. But one of the books that I was thinking about, one of the characters I was thinking about, is actually something that both of you and most of the chat was kind of talking about. You guys were very big on this first appearance, but I think we could see a character in a book that I think is super undervalued. Very super undervalued. Again, I don't know Kevin Feige. When I moved, I lost his phone, so we don't talk anymore. This is just
You
pure.
had his whole ass phone.
Yeah, we used to talk all the time, man. He was on my MySpace and stuff. Yeah, like
Damn.
yeah.
Was he on ICQ also?
Yeah. The Inhuman show, that was me. I was like putting it in his ear.
Yeah,
I
sure.
don't think I'd ever claim one again.
So this is a character that I think could hit. We could see big roll, short roll. I don't know. But I do think that if you go look at the prices for these outside of 9.8, if you're looking at 9.6, I think they're priced pretty good. But this is a character that I think we could see.
Huh.
Oh,
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean by we were kind of talking about this character a bit. Okay.
How big of a role? I don't know. I could also at the same time I see an end credit of them giving the serum to Falcon. I could totally see Ross actually getting mad in one of the things and then kind of just turning red or his eyes going red and then just ending depending on what happens with the Thunderbolts throughout the show. But I definitely think if you are doing Thunderbolts and all that, I don't see how you can't seem to think about this. And I watched a lot of channels do their spec, shout out to all of them, but nobody brought this one up. I kind of was a little worried because I didn't know how this one would be taken. But yeah, I woke up this morning being like, you know what, I'm just gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna put it out there. If people want to take it, take it. If not, hey, I totally get it. It's cool. But this is where my thought process has been the last couple days, last couple weeks with the show. I really do, because of just how much people are going crazy with Thunderbolts, man. Like, and again, you can't have Thunderbolts without Ross. So
listen, first off, that's a pretty badass cover. It's one of those books where, as a first appearance, it's the cover alone. I think it's almost a grab. It's an interesting theory, man. I totally get the whole serum thing. Will we see the whole Red Hulk thing play out? I don't know. It's definitely a wild card pick. And this book is already on the rise even before the show started. We know that. I think I was actually in the market looking for this book at one point, and a 9.8 was selling for like $400 Canadian.
Yeah, so, but a 9.6 is like $160 Canadian.
Yeah, there's a steep.
I would be a player out at 9.6 for sure, because even if I buy it now at 1.6, what the community has shown me and what FOMO has shown me is that even at a 9.6, if this character even shows up for sure, like this amount of time, that's a $300-400 book, easy. Yeah.
Well, I think. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just gonna conclude my point saying it's an interesting pick.
Yeah, so I think they have actually confirmed that damn, I forget the actor's name. The guy's playing Thunderbolt Ross. I think they confirmed he is gonna show up in the series.
Is it William Hurt?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, I think they did say he's gonna show up in the series. I could be wrong on that. But I mean, which that makes sense because he has the military connection. And then, like you said, Thunderbolts has been kicked around, and he's got a connection there. So it's possible. I would, man. I don't know. It's just hard to say because like he would be cool, and I could definitely see Marvel and Disney spending the money, but he would be pricey for like the CGI and stuff. So you know, who knows?
I'm how do I say this? Like I know some people. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know. But I like, we were talking about this, and I don't know. It could be a thing. I'm not saying it will be a thing. I'm just saying if it is a thing, remember me, please. Remember me.
I like it. I
yeah.
like that. It's a great theory, and I fucking hope they do it.
Yeah.
I know nothing about CGI, so maybe they could. There's an affordable way that they could do it.
Well,
So,
face.
You know,
To your point, just regarding the CGI thing, we do know that they have confirmed that Abomination is coming back into the MCU. So,
yeah, exactly. So yeah.
This could actually that actually makes this theory even stronger. If they're going to have Abomination, Abomination appearing in the She-Hulk series, but this kind of does give a stronger argument that this version of Ross could possibly appear.
Yeah,
For sure. I would love it, man. I hope they do it. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
That is a great theory.
The other book that I think, I saw PQ talk about it was Joaquin Torres. Do you guys know what I'm talking about or no?
Yeah, wait. That name rings a bell.
He's like, he's the. Oh man, if he's in here, he might be able to tell you. I can't remember who he is.
I saw that name just recently, and I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, he was on some spec. I think Matt Forge and them they were talking about it.
Yeah.
The thing too is that there's a lot of rumors about them going the route of going to Falcon's family origin and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people saying like Falcon's sister might be in it.
She is in it. Falcon's sister is in the show.
Isn't it? Yeah. There's possibility of Tatiana, I think her name is, being in the show as well, who is also a She-Hulk villain. I'm hearing there's also those
Titania,
Tiana, whatever.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah. There's those two. Yeah, she's part of those two wrestlers. Yeah. So like, there's a lot of things that have been leaked, like photo wise. But here's the thing: how many times have we been fooled before with like them taking pictures, or we read too much into what's going on in a picture, and it just doesn't paint it right? So as much as the Falcon's sister is in it, that she could have a small role, but like I think that she has does she not become a superhero or have some sort of powers later on?
I don't think so.
No,
Falcon's sister, no. I think she's more or less a civilian, pretty much in the comics. Because when I saw the casting, I was trying to do some research on his sister just to see if she had like to your point, if she had a further role, and I couldn't really find anything on her unless someone else was in the chat knows. But from my digging through that character, it doesn't look like she has much of a development.
Yeah.
Why are you gonna put me on blast like that?
Sam, we talked about this book. This was the first book we actually talked about.
Yeah, that's interesting. He brought that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't in. Yeah, maybe he wasn't in. Yeah, you definitely. I mean, you could find that book raw for like $5 to $10. I probably wouldn't pay more than $10 for it. Came out last year. It was the first book we talked about. Yeah, I would grab it if you come across it. But again, from an investment side, like if you're looking at it from an investment side, I don't know if it's got a lot of legs to get to that like $100 range. However, if you find it, say tomorrow, for $5, I wouldn't be surprised if you could maybe sell it for $20 to $30 later on during the show. But again, you got to remember, the show's only 6 episodes, 6 weeks, so it's going to be jam packed, fast, ready to go, boom, 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 boom.
There you go. Okay. Sorry, newbie. Okay, no good. Just put me up to speed. Yeah, and now I remember. It was from the Sam Wilson Falcon series where she becomes the new Falcon. It's a cover with a werewolf on the front.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Now it's all coming back.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. Yeah, and that's what I was going to is like, okay, yeah. So we know that she's going to be in there. There's a photo leaked of her in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, like who's to say that she would actually show up? This could be one of those, hey, yep, here's his sister. And then speculators or people are like, oh my God, this is going to happen. And they go and get that book, right? So I don't know. While at the same time, it's a book that's very undervalued and not a lot of people are talking about it, because I will be frank, I think the only people that talked about that book, shout outs to Matt Forge and them, they talked about that book. They were the only channel that I watched from all the Winter Soldier stuff that they had those books on there. So I don't know. It could be a book that a lot of people are sleeping on. So maybe if it does happen, hey, payday kind of thing. But it also could just be one of those things that Marvel does where they're like, hey, you know, like kind of how they did Mephisto and Quicksilver and all that stuff in Wanda. You sometimes have to think maybe they're doing that to kind of divert you and like, you know, redirect you kind of thing. So
wait, newbie. Joaquin Torres is Sam Wilson's sister?
I don't know. I couldn't answer that. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Like I said, man, I am not the biggest Captain America fan. I'm a lesser Falcon fan. So
yeah,
one of the first books I actually bought, I was renting to one of my friends at the time. And he was like, man, this is back in like 2012, 2013. And he was like, man, like you're buying comics. Is there a comic I could buy to like make some money off? And actually I was in the process of buying Captain America 117, which is the first appearance of Falcon. We ended up buying a 8.5 in 2012 for like $110.
Nice.
Yeah. And now I'm seeing the prices and I'm like, fuck, I should have held on to it. But we actually traded that book for what did we trade it for? Oh, I can't remember what we traded it for. So it couldn't have been that good, but yeah, we traded it.
Keep in mind, when you bought it in 2012, that was just around the time the Avengers movie came out. So we didn't get Winter Soldier, and the character Anthony Mackie didn't even appear in the MCU at that point. So yeah, things were a lot more different back then than the way they are now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still early, so you can't be blamed for getting rid of that one.
Yeah. And he didn't have a prominent role, so I will say, you know, there might be some books that maybe we missed. I mean, you know, there's so many channels that do spec, so you know, I know I know that there's a lot of books that we had that not a lot of other people did, and you know, that's good for content to like let the community know about some stuff. But yeah, you know, it's always good to have multiple sources and things like that, so it's always good. Akuma,
but always do your research.
Yeah. From all the Winter Soldier books, which would you get? Right now, I think I would, as crazy as this sounds, I think I would still be a player at Captain America 6.
I was going to say the same thing, just because I still feel this community behaves in a way where, even though obviously he's coming regardless, but
is he really like Falcon? Winter Soldier's coming? Okay, that's shocking.
Breaking news.
It's a hunch. It's a hunch that I got. It's just one of those things that as the show progresses, and there's no reason for us to not think that the show will be very well received. I think those characters are going to be even more popular, and I think those books will rise even more in value. So.
Akuma, what I would say though is, like, if you're so like he said, from all the Winter Soldier books, which would you get? Again, it would also depend on if you're putting them in your PC, right? Like if you're a fan, you're going to put them away, they're going to stay there for a bit, or if you're looking for a flip. Because if you're looking for a flip, what I would do is I would buy that book, Captain America 6, and if it is longer than 3 weeks for you to get that book, I would probably post it somewhere with the same pictures and sell it. Okay. Unless it's staying in your collection, because you got to remember, you got 6 weeks. 6 weeks if you are an investor to make money from Winter Soldier, Falcon, Captain America, all that jazz spec. That's all you have. 6 weeks.
And yes, Jeff Hardy to come by. That's the book where I would take the exception and go with the variant cover rather than cover it, because the variant cover has Bucky on the front for Captain America 6.
Yeah, I would say though, if you are gonna do that though, and you know, post it a little bit early, just make sure that that sale is like all the way confirmed, just so you don't run into any issues down the road with it.
Eric actually posted, so I think everybody was wrong with the Joaquin Torres one, but Joaquin is an immigrant of Mexican descent that was brought to the U.S. by his grandmother. He believes, but yeah, I don't think that that's Falcon's sister, but I have heard
It's a dude. It's a dude. I'm so sorry.
I'm from Spanish heritage, and I've never met a Joaquin who's a female. So
yeah, you could have corrected me on that though.
No, I just I think Sith is still in here, so that could be a clip. Sith, that could be a clip. Nice. Steve is saying, and Steve is very knowledgeable, but he's saying great picks, guys. Do you guys like Captain America 14 for spec? Also, what do you think of Disney bringing in a storyline, radical justice, hate speech, etc.? Fantastic.
Wait, newbie, back up. It's racial injustice.
That's what I said.
You said radical injustice.
Whatever, man. All right. So Fantastic Four 21.
Fired again.
So such a dictator. It's like,
first hate monger. Man, honestly, a lot of people sleep on a lot of these characters, like Hate Monger, Dragon Man. What's another one that comes to mind? Molecule Man. Like all these early Fantastic Four. Like look at that, Fantastic Four 21. You still get that iconic cover. You still get that iconic lettering. You're finding those books like the way comics should be. Like I love those, like not super low grade, but I love those like 5 to 6 numbered range books, especially in the Raleigh. They got that cover, the wear and tear. It just looks cool.
It shows that it's been loved.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I think that the way Steve is going with this question though is more along the lines of are we thinking that there's any possibility for these storylines from Disney based on the fact like essentially do they have enough balls to put that storyline out there because they're going to have to use that imagery and that speech to get it across. So are we going to see something like that from Disney or? But
do you think that they could use like another logo? Like they necessarily don't have to use the Nazi symbol, right? Like they could use something else and just, like I think everybody would know what they're trying to do.
Here's the thing. You have to understand that unlike the comics industry, like when it comes to the media side, they're trying to appeal to not just the comic fans, but the larger mainstream casual audience. So Disney is still very much a corporate, PC company. So they're gonna walk that fine line. I don't think they're gonna start pushing the envelope too much, especially with their MCU property, because although you have movies that have somewhat of mature content, it's generally meant to be family friendly for the most part. So I mean, you might see those topics kind of touched on briefly, but I don't think they're gonna go full born to just because it's just from a commercial standpoint. They just want to make the product mainstream appeal, right? So
and I do get what Paul's saying, because he was saying Nazi stuff is in. God, that sounds terrible. You know what I mean? Yeah, I 100% know what you mean. Like there isn't and this sounds terrible, but like there is a nostalgia with all that stuff, and like. Hey, I own Captain America 6. There's a Nazi symbol like right on it. You know what I mean? But like people still buy that. You talk to a lot of antique collectors and things like that. What's one of the biggest things that they collect is that Nazi stuff, that World War II and World War I stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I think that has to do with
so there's a lot of stuff like that. I just think that if they were to take that role, I think there's a lot of other villains that they would get to before that one. I really do think that that's a good one that they could do with, if they did a second season or a season 3, something like along the lines. But yeah, for his first question about Captain America 14, I have no idea what Captain America 14 is.
Is he talking about like which series Captain America 14? Are we talking about the run that had the Winter Soldier in it, or because
I don't really know.
I'm curious which run in Captain America, because there's several. I hope he's not talking about the Golden Age, because I don't think that's anyone's going to be grabbing Captain America.
Yeah, I can't afford any Golden Age unless it's just like a cover or a page from one of the books.
Yeah,
which if I send to CGC, they will CGC it still. So I'm just saying.
They will. They'll grade pages.
Okay, so So I know this is off top. Okay, yeah. So he's talking about. I have a funny story. So and then we'll just jump into this. Like, there's no need to make any comments. So I put it out in some like Facebook groups here in Canada that I was looking for a Hulk 181, and someone messaged me with like a photo of a 1.5.
Nice.
And it's graded, but I have no idea how I got a 1.5 because somebody where it says like Hulk 181 and then it's got like the Marvel Comics. It's just like a line that says like Marvel Comics. Somebody actually took like a hole punch to it, and there's like 4 holes. But then on the notation too, like right under where it says like Hulk 180, it says on page 3, it is written quotations. Sam, I like you. Do you like me? That like it was just so funny to me. And there's like a name on it. I'll send you guys the picture.
Wait a minute. I heard about this. This actually,
dude. I was like, what the fuck? The guy wants $1,800 for it.
Yeah, this actually made the rounds on YouTube. I don't know if it was that particular issue, but how CGC acknowledged a note in a book, and basically that book actually went for quite a bit just because of the unique notation on the CGC label.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, if you're Sam, you look like a fucking pimp with it. So
yeah, you're looking for he's looking for 1,800, but you know it is what. No, I can't. No, man, I can't get that hole punch. No. Yeah. So Steve, going back to Steve's question, yeah. So he says the first team up of Winter Soldier. Yeah. Okay. So I think Steve actually had this comment when we were talking about that first book, Falcon and Winter Soldier #1, which is the first team up. He actually made a comment about he thought that Captain America 14 was the first team up.
Well, I'm seeing it's the first meeting between Winter Soldier and Falcon. I don't know if they actually did they actually team up though? I don't think
in number 1 or 14. Which one 14, are you talking about?
14.
So what is number 1?
First meetings are more applicable anyway. Because I mean they don't really like they'll notate first meeting between 2 of these big characters like Daredevil and Spider-Man or whatever and shit like that. The team up aspect. I mean, as far as like in regards to the comic Falcon and Winter Soldier #1, it would still be like their first. I guess because like how you would call it with like Black Panther having like his first solo series or Luke Cage and their first solo series. Yeah, it's I guess first duo series. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean,
I guess that would be the best way to look at it.
No, but I could see issue 14 having some value because we do see how characters meeting for the first time does have some traction. I mean, not all the time, but
not all.
But especially when you're going to have a pairing that seems the show is called Falcon and Winter Soldier, so that issue 14 might not be a bad pickup.
It makes sense to see it like.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Like Hyper said earlier, we will be on Team Nerd Herd Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern. We're both going to be on there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Saturday, we will be on Spine Ticks, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Sunday, we're back at it. New comic book day, spec, news. And then Tuesday, a show that we've been doing, and it has caught fire. A lot of people are enjoying it, so we're going to continue to do it. It's going to be NCAA, bracket style, but we've got Grail versus Grail. I was going to say round 2, but I think I named it like the Albuquerque bracket or something. But yeah, we're going to go round 2. Round 2, Grail versus Grail. We're going to be putting up 10 books to go against another 10 books. And you guessed it. They're all Grails. There's gold, silver, modern, bronze, copper, platinum, double platinum, everything. And we basically talk about it because the question is, sometimes we do have those questions of like, hey, what Grail should I keep, sell, buy? Which one's better to have? There's a lot of people I know message me, and I know they message a lot of other people saying like, hey, Newbie, I got $1,000. I got these 2 books in mind. Which one do you think? So we kind of cover some of those questions and what we think. We then vote. That book moves on. And at the end of every month, it will battle another winner from that in order to get to the Grail. So make sure you guys go check that out. So again, We're back on Thursday, Team Nerd Herd. Saturday, Spine Ticks. Sunday, we're back on here for New Comic Book Day, news and spec. And then Tuesday, Grail versus Grail. I hope everybody gets to collect everything they want tomorrow. It is New Comic Book Day, so I hope everybody finds everything. I do have a catchphrase. I think a closing, because a lot of people are like, man, you need a closing.
Before you do your closing, I just want to give a shout out to Steve Bradley first. He just said that he subbed to my channel.
Okay, perfect. Sweet.
Just appreciate it, brother, and thank you for the support.
Oh, hell yeah. Appreciate that, man.
I do want to try this out, so let's see, because a lot of people are like, man, newbie, you need like a catchphrase or like a sign up, right?
Good.
So here we go. And maybe you guys message me to see how it goes.
I'm waiting.
It's kind of one of my buddies was like, dude, why don't you do that? Because of one of the videos that I did, but here it is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's it for us. Newbie, Hyper, Face, you know where to find us. And like always, oh, shoot.
I fucked it all up.
Okay. I got it. All right, guys. So that's it for me, Newbie, Hyper, Face. And like I always say, keep searching because they're out there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Truth is out there. I feel like we just got X-Files.
All right, guys. Take care, man.
Bye.